Your granny's done herself a mischief. She's got a dicky hip. She can't make it round the garden centre, so she's bowled up at your place with 3 of her mates and they want to play a board game. It's just you and them. So what do you bring out? This is ruining game night. Okay, so this is a new little experiment for me. It's called Ruining Game Night, and what I've done is I've asked a bunch of my friends to come up with scenarios, things that people might ask for, how different ways that a game night might go, and I've created a little deck of cards with those in them. I'm going to turn over a card which will give me a scenario or a preference, and then I'm going to roll the dice to see what the player count is between 1 and 6 players. I'm going to make a suggestion for a game that I think would fit that scenario really well, and I'm going to make a second suggestion for a game which would ruin game night. So the first thing to do is to shuffle up the deck of cards and deal out 10 of them. So that's my 10 cards I'm going to be using for this particular video. I'll probably do more videos in the future with your suggestions for scenarios which I'll mix into the deck. So I've got my nice big dice here. This is a dice from Rolling Realms, Stonemaier Games Rolling Realms. I thought that's probably the biggest dice I've got, so I'd have that one. And then here's my 10 cards. So let's make a start. We're going to turn over a card from the deck, and the card says, in the pub. So we're looking for a game to play in the pub, and it's a solo game. I'm not a big solo game player, and I'm not a big pub goer either. But if I was going to go to the pub and play a game on my own, I would probably opt for a roll 'em right. Roll 'em rights can be played solo, right? So just a little pad of paper, maybe a deck of cards if it was a flip 'em right, perhaps something like Cartographers. That's got a solo mode, doesn't it? Yeah, let's go with that. I'd probably go for Cartographers. What would I not play? What would ruin game night if I wanted a solo game in the pub? If I was looking for a nice solitary exercise, people coming along and recommending that we play a nice big game of, I don't know, the Resistance. That would be the antithesis of a solo game in the pub. Right, next up then. Get rid of that one. We've got 5-player game, and we want a 5-player game with lots of miniatures. As you know, I've got an answer for this straight away because it's a game that I'd love to play more, but I never play. And that is, I'd like to play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shadows of the Past. I've got that game. It works brilliantly for 5 players because you've got the 4 turtles all working together, or you can of course mix in the other characters like Splinter or Casey or April. But then you're playing, 1 player is the baddie, so essentially it's 4 players versus 1. So that would be a great 5-player game with lots of miniatures. It's really good as well. What would ruin game night if we were playing a 5-player game with, we wanted a 5-player game with miniatures? Well, let's take the player count right down, right? So no one's turned up, we've only got 2 players, and the person who's come along wants to play Twilight Struggle. There we go, Twilight Struggle would ruin game night for that particular group. So we're going office lunch hour, 3 players. Do you know what I've had good success with in office lunch hour? So I guess you've got to think, where do you work? Are the people you're playing with, are they regular gamers? Are they new to gaming? I've had big success with things like Sushi Go, Diamont, even Dixit, although Dixit at 3, maybe I wouldn't go for Dixit at 3. Diamont at 3 is not great either. Might be barking up the wrong tree with those. I'd go Fantasy Realms. Fantasy Realms, nice little portable card game, simple to teach, lots of nice strategy in it. I think that would blow new gamers' minds, easily fit it into a lunch hour. What would ruin lunchtime for my co-workers? Something complex, a 3-player complex game. Do you know, it doesn't even have to be that complex, does it, to blow people's minds? Let me have a quick look. What's on my shelf that would really get people confused? Let's go with this, Dragon's Gold. Now that is going to make you lose friends. Okay, that game is the meanest game I think I've got. This is a game where you have to, you reveal dragons' treasures. Everyone's contributed to try and get those treasures, but then you've got to negotiate who gets how much of the share, and if you don't decide it before the timer runs out, then nobody gets anything. So it's lots of very mean negotiation. Good game for falling out with your co-workers, I would say. Right, so that is 3 of them done. We're doing 10 today. Right, this game I really, really want to win. It's got 6 players. I really want to win. Whew, what would I be good at winning at? What games do I play most? I play Bunny Kingdom a lot. I play Quacks of Quedlinburg a lot. These games are games I play at 2-player because I play them with my wife all the time. 6-player, I'd go Evolution. I don't know whether I'd win. I don't know. And 6-player can run a little long. I guess it could be a party game, couldn't it? Something really big. I'm quite good at drawing. So maybe something like Identic. That's what I'd go for, Duplic or Identic. It's the same game. It's a drawing game where you've got this weird picture and you've got to describe it to the other players and they all have to draw it, and then you score points based on whether they've managed to draw your description accurately. And so it's a game that you do well at if you're good at drawing and if you're good at describing stuff, good at communicating. What would ruin game night? If I really wanted to win, I was playing with 6 players, it would be Power Grid, right? Power Grid, I think that plays with up to 6. Does Power Grid play with 6? Let's have a look. Yeah, Power Grid plays with 6, and it's quite good with bigger numbers, but I'm rubbish at it. I really, really enjoy it, but I'm rubbish at it. So if I really wanted to win, that would ruin my game night, for sure. Dexterity game for 2 players. Oh, great. Oh, this is right up my street. A dexterity game for 2 players. I'd go with Pitch Out. Pitch Out, flicking game, really good, totally overlooked. No one knows about Pitch Out unless you watch my channel because I talk about it quite a lot. So you're flicking discs, they've all got special powers. Your goal is to knock the enemy's sort of leader, I can't remember what it's called, off the table using all the special powers on your various discs. Brilliant game, dexterity game for 2 players. If you wanted to ruin game night and somebody was looking for dexterity game for 2 players, do I know any bad dexterity games? Not really. I love dexterity games. They pretty much always work for me. I can't think of any bad dexterity games. So if I wanted to ruin game night for somebody with who wanted a 2-player dexterity game, I guess I'd have to go with something really, really strategic. The exact opposite of a 2-player dexterity game. So again, we could put down Twilight Struggle. Let's go with that. What have we got? Kids 6 to 8 years old. I'm not going to make them play Twilight Struggle. We've got 5 of them. 5 kids, 6 to 8 years old. It's quite a young age group, isn't it? And quite variable, I think. 6 to 8 years, you find some kids are quite advanced at that point. Some kids could play some of the more adult games, other kids couldn't. I'd be going Cockroach Poker. 5, 6 to 8 years old, yeah, definitely I'd be going Cockroach Poker. I love Cockroach Poker, and it would be perfect at that age. The lying, the bluffing. Yeah, that's what I'd go with. What would really ruin their day? What would really ruin game night? Or maybe what would ruin my day? I can easily imagine a bunch of 6 to 8 year olds asking to play Monopoly. That would ruin my day. Oh, or my weekend. I wouldn't want to play a 5-player game of Monopoly with a bunch of kids. That would be hard going, but I could easily imagine they'd ask for it because it's everywhere. Next up then, a 3-player game which you're going to play with people with analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis, where people take ages to think about what they're going to do next. I'm going to demonstrate this to you now. 3-player game for people with analysis paralysis. There you go, there's my demonstration of analysis paralysis. What I wouldn't play with them, I can tell you now what would ruin game night is playing Tikal or Java, Mexica, Cuzco, any of those. So Tikal, ruin game night. What would I play with them? Let's play something really fast. Let's play something where they've got to go fast. 3-player Magic Maze isn't very good, but that's the sort of vibe I want. I want something real time, where we're working fast against the clock. I'll tell you what, let's play Doodle Rush. Okay, this is a bit self-serving because it is my own design, but we play a nice 3-player game of Doodle Rush. That's over in 6 minutes. You can't be slow. Works really well with 3 players. Frantic, drawing, guessing. Yeah, that's what I'd go for. 3-player game of Doodle Rush. 6-player game that I could stick in a backpack. Presumably I'm going to be playing, I don't know, in an airport, in a hotel, in a pub. Don't know. Maybe I'm just going to someone's house. Does Rock Paper Wizard play 6-player? Yes, it does. Rock, Paper, Wizard. That's what I'd go for. So this is a game where you're trying to compete to get to the front of a sort of a queue to get treasure, I suppose. And the way you do that is by pointing at people, doing different hand gestures, all doing that simultaneously, and then seeing who's pointing at who and which spells with which special powers happen. It's frantic. It's very, very silly, but it's small. Really big experience in a small box. So there we go. Rock, Paper, Wizard would be my game. Oh, what would ruin someone's day? Do you know what I really don't like is games like, it's been so many years, so this is harsh because maybe I'd enjoy it now. I've changed a lot over the years. Didn't enjoy Killer Bunnies. Played that with a big group at a party once. Took forever. There was nothing to it, no strategy. It was so silly and oh. Killer Bunnies, that would ruin my day if someone brought that along. Right, last one then. Somebody who's new to gaming, or a group that's new to gaming. There's 3 of them. I mean, this is going to be super predictable, really. I'd play Ticket to Ride. That is very predictable, isn't it? Do I have a less predictable answer? It depends whether I wanted them to really, if I wanted to kind of evangelize the hobby, right? Ticket to Ride is a great starting point to get people into it. If I wasn't so concerned about that, if I was happy to just kind of have a nice game and then they're never going to play again, oh, there's loads of games that I could play in that scenario. You know, I could, something like Picomino, little dice game. I don't think that's going to introduce anyone to the hobby and get everyone going, oh wow, I'm hooked. But it'd be a really fun game to play with 3 people who are new to gaming. A little bit of dice rolling. What would really ruin game night for 3 people new to gaming? Oh, I've had so many difficult experiences with this, awkward experiences with this. Maybe I probably wouldn't introduce Evolution to a group with who was new to gaming. But I mean, you could go so much heavier, couldn't you? I mean, you put Power Grid in front of somebody, or depends on the person, you know. Some people, that would be fine. You know, you put Scythe in front of somebody who's new to gaming. For some groups, that would be totally overwhelming. For another group, that would be fine. So let's go with something super complex. The most complex games that I have are Dominant Species and Poseidon. Let's go with that, Poseidon. That's a heavy economic game, an introductory 18xx game. I'm going to go with that, Poseidon from Lookout Spiel, to ruin their night. Okay, there we go. That is 10 scenarios. What I want you to do is suggest some new scenarios to me. Different situations. They can be as ridiculous as you like, or they can be pretty straightforward. To be honest, the ones I've had there are pretty mundane, aren't they? They're pretty day-to-day sort of experiences, and I'm going to mix them into my deck, and we'll go through another 10 on another video. Hope you enjoyed that. I did, and I will see you on another video. All the best. Oh, and please like, subscribe, comment, love all that stuff, and yeah, see you next time.